Don't invite them in. If you see a silhouette of anyone appear in the window, whatever you do, whatever you hear, under no circumstances should you let them in. They are not human, nor are they of this world. If you make the unfortunate mistake of inviting them in, pray to any and all gods out there that all you will experience are the sights. I first made contact with these creatures when I was but a young'un. It was a clear night and, like any child, I was awaiting for my father to arrive home with treats. So when I saw his silhouette in the frosted window, I immediately called him over. The silhouette smiled, or it looked like it smiled, and walked to the door. But the door never opened to reveal my jolly father. Being the curious child and a little bit of a prankster, I went out and tried to look for him, only to come up empty-handed. After searching for a few more minutes, I went back inside and asked my mother where my father was. She looked at me with a confused expression and said that he was still at work. This confused me to no end, so I told her I saw his silhouette outside the window. Fear briefly flashed through my mother's eyes before it was replaced by a wary smile. "Go to bed, dear. It's late, and you still have school tomorrow," she said, while ushering me to my room. That was the first time I saw one of them. And they didn't stop. Throughout the years, they grew closer and closer, always at the edge of my vision. If only it remained that way. I am now in my 20s and they remained at the edge. Until last night. As I lie in my bed, shutting the lights, I felt the bed dip by my feet. Naturally, I thought it was my Great Dane, but when my eyes wandered to the spot, I was met with one of the silhouettes. Yet this time, it wasn't at the edge of my vision, like all the times before. It was on my bed, sitting down and staring at me with a featureless face. I held its gaze for a minute before its face began to tear. From its shadow-covered body formed a too-wide mouth lined with sharp, jagged teeth. It leaned closer until it was just beside my ear, its breath cold as the Arctic air, and its black, tendril-like hand cupping my cheek. It spoke in a distorted voice, like the voice of so many people speaking in a chaotic orchestra. "I'm home, little one. How are you?" "What are you?" I exclaimed, but the only response I got was a too wide and toothy grin. And just like that, it vanished as if it were never there. The next day, I received a call from my mother telling me to come over immediately. The urgency in her voice was enough to get me out of the office and into my car, speeding towards her home. When I arrived, I was met with a somber atmosphere. "Eliza, shut and lock the door," my mother said, and so I did. "What is this about?" I asked. "The silhouette. Do you remember when you told me all those years ago?" she asked. My blood felt like ice in my veins, and slowly I nodded my head, noticing how none of the shadows were present this time. "I should have told you before it was too late, but... She trailed off before wiping tears from her eyes. "Those things, they're coming for you now, to claim you as its next child, like it did to my sister. And to your grandmother's sister," she explained. please, please, you've invited them in now. Whatever you do, don't talk to them. Don't ask them anything. Don't acknowledge them apart from the glancing. If you do, if you talk to them, I won't be able to save you.